People always say marriage exposes a person's true character, but nobody warned me that it would expose mine. One I didn't even know existed. I didn't know I could shrink. I didn't know I could learn silence. I didn't know love could make me walk into rooms hoping no one would look at me too long, because the man I married hated when the world noticed me. It started the night we attended his friend's housewarming in Lekki. I wore a simple peach gown. Nothing loud, nothing extreme. But the moment we walked in, people noticed me. Ahar, Mira, you're glowing. Oh, your wife find I call it. This your woman na spec. I smiled politely, shy but happy. For a moment, I felt proud that I was beside a husband who always treated me like glass at home. But then he laughed. A laugh I had never heard before. Sharp, cold, designed to cut. Obey. All this glow you people are seeing, she painted her face for 2 hours. She almost made us late. They laughed. I stood there confused. Later, when someone complimented my voice after I greeted the crowd, he quickly added, "You people don't know her, oh. Her voice is sweet here, but at home, she can shout for Africa." Everyone chuckled. I swallowed hard. And when his colleague said, "Mira, you look really elegant tonight," he rested an arm on my shoulder and replied, "Elegant ka? This one that doesn't know how to match colors until I help her. I'm the stylist in this marriage." That was when my smile cracked. But instead of defending myself, I stood beside him like a well-trained mannequin, smiling whenever laughter swallowed the room, even when I felt my heart sinking into my stomach. Because this was not the man that kissed my forehead every morning. This was not the man that wrote long messages calling me his piece. This was not the man that sent me love songs and soft voice notes during work. This one beside me. This one loved the attention too much to let me have any. When we got home, and I quietly told him I felt embarrassed, he didn't get defensive like I expected. No, worse. He pulled me into his arms gently and whispered, "Baby, don't take it personal. I was just joking. You were looking shy, so I tried to help you relax. Come here, let me hold you." And like a fool, I let him hold me, because his voice was soft, because his hands were warm, because his apologies wrapped around me like a blanket. That night, he made me feel like I misunderstood everything, like I was too sensitive, like I needed to work on myself. But lying beside him on that bed, staring at the ceiling, one thought refused to leave my mind. If that was a joke, why did it feel like he enjoyed watching me shrink? A seed was planted that night, small but powerful. And seeds, they always grow. The morning after that housewarming, Khalid behaved like nothing happened. He hummed while shaving. He kissed my cheek. He brought me tea in bed and said, "Sleep more, my sunshine. You were tense yesterday." Tense? I wasn't tense. I was humiliated. But his tenderness was so disarming, so warm, that it confused me. It made me question everything I felt. When I finally got up to prepare for work, he followed me around the room like a man newly in love. "Mira, should I iron your dress?" "Mira, don't stress yourself. Mira, you know you looked so beautiful last night, right?" That last one made me stop. I searched his face to see if he was joking, but he only smiled at me. Soft, boyish, gentle. How can a man hurt you in public and heal you in private so effortlessly? That morning, I allowed myself to believe his version of the night. It was just a joke. I was too emotional. I misunderstood. I dressed up, applied light makeup, and we drove to work together, his hand resting on my thigh, his voice teasing me softly. At a stoplight on Admiralty Road, he turned to me suddenly and said, "You know I love you, right? You're the best thing in my life." I nodded, and when he smiled, everything inside me melted again. But the universe has a funny way of exposing the truth you try to bury. The next incident. 2 weeks later, we attended a small couple's dinner hosted by one of his colleagues. Only 8 people were present. It was intimate, cozy, safe, or so I thought. During the dinner, the host's wife complimented my work presentation she had seen online. "Mira, honestly, that presentation was brilliant. You speak with so much confidence." I told my husband, I wish I could present like you. I smiled shyly. Thank you so much. Khalid paused mid-chew, looked at me, then at her. Confidence, he said, chuckling. My wife? She's managing. You people don't know her like I do. This one can panic over small pressure until she's shaking. The table laughed. I felt my stomach tighten. Then he added, wiping his mouth carelessly. She forgets things easily, too. If not for me helping her rehearse that night, she would have scattered everything. More laughter. More shrinking. I pressed my fingers together under the table, so no one would see them tremble. And the worst part? He didn't even look malicious. He looked proud, like he was telling a funny story about a child he adored. Later, when the host's wife asked where I got my hairstyle done, before I could answer, Khalid jumped in again. Hairstyle? Don't mind her, oh. She wanted to try something classy for once. I told her to be bold. Normally she likes simple things because she's not used to attention. Everyone nodded or giggled. I forced a smile until my jaw hurt. Inside, I felt myself shrinking into something I didn't recognize. A smaller version of me. A quieter version. And when we got home, you already know. He wrapped his arms around me from behind. Baby, you are so stiff at dinner. That's why I tried to make the atmosphere light. If I embarrassed you, I'm sorry. You know I'll never talk you down. I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask him if he was blind. I wanted to tell him I wasn't stiff. I was tired of becoming small. But his voice was warm. His breath was soft on my neck. He whispered, "You're my queen, Mira. Don't let little things get to you." Little things. That's what he called it. I broke a little more that night. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet, invisible crack. And cracks, they spread. The day everything shifted was a Sunday afternoon. The kind of Lego Sunday where nobody is in a hurry. The air smells like fried plantain, and couples pretend everything is fine in front of each other. We were invited to a small get-together by one of Khalid's schoolmates, Teo. I didn't want to go, not after the last 2 outings, but Khalid insisted. Baby, don't overthink it, he said, buttoning his shirt. You always look tense when people compliment you. Relax, okay? I'll be there. I should relax? I should adjust? The world was upside down, and somehow I was the only one who could see it. When we arrived, I did what I always did, stayed close to him, smiled softly, avoided being too noticeable. The worst thing that could happen to me that day was another praise I didn't ask for. But life is wickedly dramatic. Because somehow, I still caught attention. The compliment that broke him. We were all seated in the living room, just flowing, jollof steaming, laughter bouncing off the walls. Then someone new walked in, Teo's cousin, a woman with the kind of sharp eyes that saw everything. She greeted everyone warmly, then looked at me with a smile. You must be Mira. I've heard so much about you. You're beautiful in person, wow. Before I could even finish my thank you, Khalid's voice sliced the room. Don't let her deceive you. This one can sleep 16 hours if you leave her. Beauty way day come with laziness. Everyone laughed. But the new woman didn't. She just stared at him, then at me, with a quiet confusion that made my skin prickle. When I excused myself to go assist in the kitchen, she followed me. The first stranger who saw beyond the smile. The moment we were alone, she spoke softly. Are you okay? My heart skipped. I forced a laugh. Of course. Why? She tilted her head, studying me like she could see the cracks beneath my skin. Your husband, why does he talk about you like that? Twice now, he corrected every compliment you got. I felt a sting behind my eyes. It's nothing. He's just joking. Her expression didn't change. No smile. No pity. Just clarity. My dear, those aren't jokes. That's insecurity wearing cologne. My chest tightened. I didn't want to hear it. I wasn't ready to accept it. But she wasn't done. A confident man doesn't dim his wife's light outside and polish her at home. Real love doesn't have 2 faces. Her words slammed into me. 2 faces. 2 versions. 2 loves. I swallowed the knot in my throat and returned to the living room before my emotions betrayed me. But the seed she planted, it rooted itself immediately. The incident in the car. Driving home, Khalid was unusually quiet. I knew that silence. It only came when he noticed someone noticing him. Finally, he spoke. That woman? Teo's cousin, she's rude. I blinked. Rude? Why? She kept staring like she was judging me. Some people don't know boundaries. I said nothing. He continued, voice sharpening. You should learn to avoid women like that. They can destroy marriages. They put ideas in your head. Ideas. Ideas like, I deserved kindness outside her house too. Respect should not come with privacy settings. Love shouldn't change based on who's watching. But I kept quiet. Survival had taught me silence. When we reached home, his hand brushed my thigh. Baby, you're distant, he murmured. I'm just tired. Come here. His voice grew soft. That softness again, his best weapon. He pulled me into his arms, rested his forehead against mine, and whispered, You know you're mine, right? My treasure. I don't ever want you doubting that. People out there don't care about you like I do. I protect you. Protect. He called this protection. But as he held me, his words from earlier replayed in my mind. She can sleep 16 hours if you leave her. Beauty way day come with laziness. Something inside me cracked deeper. But it wasn't breaking this time. It was awakening. Because for the first time since this marriage began, I had a witness. Someone who saw both sides of him. For the first time, it wasn't all in my head. There is something powerful about seeds planted in silence. They grow in the dark, quietly, steadily, until one day, you look in the mirror and you're not the same woman who used to shrink for the comfort of others. That was what began to happen to me. Not loudly. Not all at once. But slowly, every time someone noticed how Khalid spoke to me, every time his apology felt more like a script than remorse, every time his sweetness tasted like sugar-coating poison. And then came the day everything shifted beyond repair. The event that exposed him. My office hosted a small seminar in Victoria Island, a mix of clients, partners, and speakers. I wasn't the main presenter, but I had a small segment. Nothing major. But something happened that day. I shined. Not because I was trying to, but because I was prepared, composed, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't think about him. I spoke confidently, answered questions clearly, even cracked a joke that had the room laughing. When the seminar ended, people walked up to me. Mira, that was brilliant. You should host more events. You explained everything so simply. And for once, I allowed myself to feel proud. Of course, I invited Khalid. He showed up late, as usual, but he arrived just in time to witness the small crowd around me. That was his trigger. He walked up with a smile too wide to be sincere and kissed my cheek. Wow, my wife the star, he announced loudly. Everyone chuckled, and I relaxed a bit. But then, he struck. Don't let this praise confuse you people. If you see her this morning and she almost cried because she thought she'd mess up. Laughter. A few chuckles. And forget all this confidence you're seeing. Oh, she practiced in front of the mirror till she lost her voice. Fear day, catch her normally. More laughter. Each word hit me like small, invisible slaps. Then he leaned in dramatically and added, if not that I coached her, she would have fainted on stage. The room went silent for a second, just 1 second, but it was enough. People exchanged looks. Not pity. Not laughter. Confusion. Discomfort. Awkwardness. For the first time, his joke didn't land. The spell cracked. He didn't even notice. But I did. The woman who couldn't stay silent. As people gradually dispersed, one of my senior colleagues, Mrs. Bellow, a firm but warm woman, approached me quietly. Mira, is everything okay at home? My heart skipped. Not again. Not another person seeing what I was trying to hide with smiles. She continued, your husband's comments today, they didn't sound like jokes. They sounded like someone trying to shrink you. Intentionally. My throat tightened. Before I could respond, she placed a gentle hand on my arm. I'm not asking to judge. I'm asking because I've been there. That sentence. It shook me. She had been me once. And suddenly I didn't feel crazy, or dramatic, or sensitive. Just seen. The reaction he didn't expect. Driving home, Khalid was in a strangely good mood, like embarrassing me had given him a high. Baby, you did well, he said, rubbing my thigh. You see how I helped you relax with those jokes? The room was too serious. This time, I didn't smile. I didn't brush it aside. I didn't melt into his sweetness. I simply asked, why do you do that? He blinked. Do what? Make me small in front of people. The shock on his face was almost funny. He laughed nervously. Baby, stop. You're misunderstanding me again. I don't think I am. His hand froze on my thigh. For the first time since our marriage began, he felt me slipping from his grip. And insecure men don't know how to handle losing control. His voice softened, too soft. Mira, don't do this. Don't let outsiders fill your head with rubbish. Outsiders. That was what he called the people who actually saw me. I stared out the window, watching cars pass on Ozumbambadiu, and whispered, I'm not shrinking for you anymore. He went quiet. Completely quiet. Not angry quiet. Not confused quiet. Threatened quiet. That was when I realized something important. He wasn't gentle. He wasn't soft. He wasn't mild-mannered. He was only those things when it kept me close. When it kept me quiet. When it kept me his. The mask had cracked. And once a mask cracks, it never fits the same way again. You know that moment when something inside you changes quietly, like a door closing slowly behind you? That's what the next days felt like. I didn't announce anything. I didn't confront him again. I didn't fight. I just watched. I watched how he spoke. How he reacted when my phone rang. How he stiffened whenever someone praised me. How he monitored my expressions like a man waiting for rebellion. He knew something had shifted. And that terrified him. The sudden extra sweetness. Khalid began overcompensating. The man who once forgot anniversaries suddenly remembered the small things. Baby, I bought your favorite ice cream. Baby, I cleaned the bathroom for you. Baby, I ordered that dress you've been admiring. He texted me constantly, sending random, I love you messages like he was afraid I would slip through his fingers if he didn't hold tight. And every evening he would sit beside me, stroking my arm gently. But his sweetness no longer felt warm. It felt strategic. Like a performance. Like a man fighting to keep an image alive. One night I asked softly, Khalid, do you feel threatened when people praise me? He paused. His hand froze on my arm. Threatened men always freeze before they lie. Then he said, why would I feel threatened by my own wife? Don't say things that don't make sense. But his voice was too tight, too defensive, too rehearsed. I didn't respond. I didn't argue. I simply turned away from him and folded my hands. And sometimes silence is the strongest mirror. You see things reflected clearly. The slip in front of my family. We visited my older sister the following weekend. She adored Khalid. She always said, Mira, you're lucky. This your husband too calm, too sweet. Not good man. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to hold on to that illusion. But then my sister complimented my skin, saying it looked radiant. Without missing a breath, he said, Radiant ka? If you see the stress this woman gives me at home, you won't say that. Sometimes I feel like her mother. My sister stopped smiling. She stared at him, then at me. There was a small silence. A thin awkwardness that wrapped around the room. I excused myself to get water, and when she followed me into the kitchen, she asked quietly, Mira, is everything okay? My throat tightened. Not again. Not her too. I forced a smile. I'm fine.
But she didn't buy it.
She touched my arm and said, a man who loves you shouldn't make himself look like your babysitter. For the second time in my life, someone else saw it. The night I stopped melting. That night, back at home, Khalid slipped into bed beside me and placed his hand on my waist. You were quiet today. Did you enjoy your sister's place? I didn't move. I didn't respond. He shifted closer. Mira, what's happening? Why are you acting distant? I finally whispered, because I'm listening now. He stiffened. Listening to who?
To you.
The silence between us grew thick. I could feel him breathing harder, not from anger, but from panic. He wasn't used to losing emotional dominance. He wasn't used to me seeing through him. He tried again, voice trembling a little. I'm your husband, Mira. People outside don't understand us. Don't let them influence you. Influence me. Influence. As if kindness was foreign. As if being seen was corruption. I turned to face him, my voice shaking but firm. You say people don't understand us, but you're different when they're watching. He swallowed. You embarrass me, I whispered. And you enjoy doing it. His mouth parted like he wanted to deny it, but he couldn't find the words. Because we both knew it was true. He tried again, softer. I only joke like that because I love you. No, I said, sitting up. Love doesn't hide. Love doesn't compete. Love doesn't shrink me to feel tall. He stared at me, shocked. For the first time since we got married, he looked small.
Not me.
Him. The beginning of his fear. He sat up slowly beside me. Mira, please don't do this, he whispered. His voice had changed, fragile, shaky, like he could feel the power shifting. I'm not doing anything, I said quietly. I'm just seeing you clearly.
His jaw tightened.
Not in anger, but in fear. That was when I realized something important. A man like him didn't fear losing love. He feared losing control. And the moment I stopped melting into his apologies, he lost half of that control. The moment the waiter announced my husband's name as next to give remarks, he squeezed my hand like always, his silent warning. Don't shine too much tonight. Don't forget your place. Don't embarrass him by existing too loudly. I sat there, calm. But he didn't know tonight was not going to end the way he planned. He walked to the stage, grabbed the mic, smiled at the crowd, and then, just as he opened his mouth to start his usual jokes about me, a woman stood up. Not a colleague. Not a family member. Not a friend. A stranger.
Tall.
Confident. Wearing a red dress that did not hide her attitude. She shouted from the middle of the hall, "Don't you dare." Every head turned. The room froze. Khalid blinked, confused. And ma'am, do we know you? She marched toward the stage. Heel clicks. Full chest. Zero shame. You know me very well, she said loudly, grabbing another microphone from a waiter. My heart slammed against my ribs.
She pointed at him.
Tell them, Khalid. Tell them how you call me every week to complain that your wife is too intelligent for you.
Gasps.
Chairs shifted. A man choked on his drink. Khalid went pale. Please stop, he whispered. But she wasn't done. Oh, now you want to stop? When you've been using me like a therapist? When you run to my apartment to cry because your wife gets more compliments than you? The crowd exploded. People murmured. Phones discreetly came out. Cameras tilted. Screens lit up. My hands went cold. She continued, voice sharper than a knife. You told me, and I quote, I dim her light, so she won't forget who the man of the house is. Isn't that right? Khalid staggered back. No, this is not. Oh, but it is. She stepped closer, lips curling. Tell them how you begged me to reassure you that you're still the prize, because your wife is outgrowing you mentally. People gasped louder. He whispered, Please, stop please. But she raised her voice. Or should I tell them the best part? The hall leaned in. Khalid looked like he was about to faint. She pointed directly at me. Your husband didn't cheat on you because he wanted sex. He cheated because he needed someone who would pretend he was better than you. Someone smaller. Someone dumber. Someone he could impress. Every sound in the hall died instantly. Silence. Complete silence. Cuts sharper than knives. Khalid burst into trembling tears, shaking his head violently. It wasn't like that. She's lying, Mira, please listen. But the woman wasn't done. She walked off the stage, dropped the mic beside him, and said quietly but loud enough for all to hear. I'm done babysitting your insecurity. Fix your life. And leave me out of it. Then she walked out. Just walked out. Leaving him standing there. Alone.
Exposed.
destroyed by the same woman he used to escape his own weakness. The aftermath. He ran to me in front of everyone, crying like a child. Mira, it's not what it looks like. Please don't leave me. Please. I stood up slowly. For once, I wasn't shaking. I wasn't confused. I wasn't apologizing for his behavior. I looked him straight in the eyes and said, "You dimmed me so you could breathe. But tonight, someone dimmed you. And now you finally know how it feels." He collapsed on his knees. People whispered. Cameras flashed. Emotions spilled everywhere. And I walked past him, not smiling, not crying, just done. He wanted to own my light. Tonight, his own darkness swallowed him instead.